Just days after the publication of the newest royal family official picture, you two yourselves have released a photograph, almost as though it was like an official picture.
I think it's really nice that you see it that way.
Well, the demand was high, so I thought to myself, I'll be damned if I'm going to be left out. Well, of course I've been left out of the official royal photograph. In fact, I was almost left out of our photograph.
Yeah, the cameraman and some of the artistic consultants, they thought the picture might look better if Harry wasn't in it.
A picture of you alone, then, Meghan?
Oh, but there were some logistical problems with that, so they inserted me back in.
Oh, good, Harry. And in it, you're standing askance to Meghan, with a finger interlocked from each of your hands, and with a face that I can only assume was trying to look laid back, but actually looks like smugness corrupted by beta male weakness.
Thanks.
You're welcome. And you, Meghan, I see that you made sure that you were standing in front of Harry again, like you did in your Time magazine shoot, where Harry looked like a giant ginger epaulette made out of plasticine and with his hair thickened by digital wizardry.
Oh, you, noticed, did you?
Yeah, it's important that we break through the archetypes that hold women back.
Stereotypes.
So, like, it's a very powerful message, right? When strong women, perhaps even dominant women,
No doubt about it.
take a step forward, both literally and figuratively.
Maybe even metaphysically.
And lead the way into a brighter tomorrow.
And what exactly is that?
I don't know destinations, I can't precisely define what this better world would look like, what it'll be.
Oh, but she'll be sure to claim it was her vision when we get there.
But I do know one thing about this better future, and it'll be one where women use their intellect passionately and their hearts sensibly.
I don't know how she does it.
When women think about things, they got to think about them with a furious heat, right? To come up with a solution. So this, for the problems of the decaying world. But when they're listening to their hearts, when they're going to listen to their heart, they got to be guided. They got to just quieten down, take a step back, and be chilled out. Chilled out.
Hot head, cool heart.
That's right, Harry.
My Meghan has got a head as hot as a furnace and a heart as cold as ice.
With a display of characteristic professionalism, Meghan, you've employed a fact checker for your podcast, which is, of course, misnamed Archetypes.
Yeah, I just thought it would be best to, get an independent fact checker for the podcast to make sure that, everything's up to scratch and on the level.
You've selected a woman, of course.
And a very brilliant woman.
Yeah, I was just looking for an independent fact checker who was really excelling in their personal life and in their personal interests. And, they can come on and really hold the show to account, and maybe even me to account if necessary.
I don't think that'll be necessary. And if she actually did, can you imagine?
And what I really want to do is avoid the accusation that I'm creating a low-energy echo chamber, only interested in pushing narratives that are beneficial to grievance mongers and those who feed off the all-pervasive victim mentality.
Oh, what a thing to suggest. However, you have selected a virtual carbon copy of yourself, Meghan, albeit one with slightly more literary ability, Nicole Pazolka, whose interests include criminal justice, activism, music, business, queer culture, and gender.
It's almost like a rewritten version of Billy Joel's We Didn't Start the Fire, but with more beautiful lyrics.
Yeah, she's a very talented, multi-talented individual who's got a wide range of interests in the crucial themes and subjects of the day.
Yes, well, subjects and themes that have been artificially thrust to the peak of conversation in the last 20 minutes, and that we discuss instead of the very real economic, social, and moralistic collapse happening as we speak.
Yeah, those are the ones.
Yeah, she's a really great addition to the team.
I'm sure. I mean, how could anyone who describes themselves as an activist not be?
Touché, Dr. Jackson.
She's also recently published a book entitled How You Get Famous.
My Meghan could be writing that with her left hand, whilst in her right hand holding a ultra-vegan, no-fat, no-taste, no-foam, avocado milk chai latte.
The book is actually a deep dive into New York City's underground drag scene and has been praised as an engaging book that will appeal to scholars of gender as well as anyone with an interest in queer culture.
At last, someone's filled the void. I mean, there's been a demand there for years.
Yes, if you want to know anything about drag culture now, you have to ask a 6-year-old. But Meghan, considering the term fact checker is rather contentious, lacking as we are a book of unbiased truth etched into the rocks of reality, is Miss Pazuka really going to contradict anything you say that's convenient to her narratives, which, as we've already established, almost completely mirror yours?
Well, what can I say? I mean, truth mirrors truth.
We're thinking about taking her on the road with us.
Sing On the Road again, Harry.
Canned Heat or Willie Nelson?
Willie Nelson.
On the road again. Do-do-do-do-do. Just can't wait to get on the road again. Do-do-do-do-do. I found love was making music with my friends. Do-do-do. I can't wait to get on the road again.
In the latest episode of your podcast, Meghan, you turn your ample reserves of moralistic fire upon Hollywood, complaining at their stereotyping of Asian women as overly sexualized or aggressive.
Now let's calm down or I'll get Lucy Lou on you.
Well, no body or institution should be immune from criticism if they've played a role in archetyping,
stereotyping
vulnerable members of society, vulnerable communities like Asian women. And Hollywood have been guilty of that. So
when my Meghan's got her mind set on something, nothing gets in her way. She'll do anything. Anything.
In the demystification of the Dragon Lady...
Racist!
But that was the title of the podcast, Harry.
I came up with that name.
Oh, did you? Right. I must get around to watching it.
In the podcast, you mentioned specific films as examples, including, and I quote, the one-dimensional Japanese female characters in Austin Powers' Goldmember, which sexually tokenized Asian women, and Kill Bill, where Lucy Liu, Lucy, was the ruthless and vicious leader of a crime gang.
Exactly. It's awful that Hollywood feels like it needs to pander to these archetypes.
Stereotypes. But Lucy Liu herself has defended the film, and we must remember that the group of assassins to which she belonged was comprised of mixed genders, nationalities, and races.
Yeah, but where are the pangenders?
They hadn't been invented yet, Harry.
That's true.
What I'm getting at is, Meghan, are you just finding problems on behalf of other communities that they themselves aren't bothered about, just so you can justify your endless preaching and indeed the very concept of your podcast?
No, because I had 3 Asian women on my podcast, and they all agreed with me.
Yeah, amazingly Asian.
Yes, you had a comedian Margaret Shu, a sociologist Nancy Wang Yun, and a journalist Lisa Ling. I'm afraid I hadn't personally heard of any of them.
Yeah, which proves my point.
Yes, although it does also play to the possibility that they are merely drawing sustenance from a perceived evil that would, if eliminated, eliminate the need for them. Sociologists in particular.
Oh, sociologists always get a bad rap. That's so unfair. Because I went to one once to help with my social skills.
What did he say?
Go away.
Kate Blanchard has ridiculed the idea of my truth in a recent interview with Harper's Bazaar UK, saying that truth is just truth, isn't it? Sorry, Kate who?
Yeah, that's right.
She also added that language is so important. My perspective is one thing, but my truth, I just don't know what that means. People need to be able to speak their truth, okay? It's a fundamental right. It's a human right.
Oh, that is, unless your truth is made up of heinous lies against my Meghan.
My truth is, how would I describe it?
Tell us your truth about the meaning of my truth.
My truth is a opportunity, in essence. It's an opportunity to give, expression to your momentary oneness, like to give validation to your life, to your being here in time.
It's like Shakespeare reborn.
To escape the shackles of judgmentation, the judgmentation of others, that try to hold you back with their strict version of truth, rigid version of truth.
Oh yeah, those times are gone. It's all up for grabs now.
Yes, that does seem to be the case, Harry. Although, Meghan, do you agree with Mrs. Fairground Bouquet, whose cat is a tom and whose dog was a stray, who says, my truth merely means personal experience or opinion, for which we already have perfectly suitable words, meaning that the overuse of the term my truth actually corrupts the real word truth?
I really disagree with that. I really, really disagree with that. In fact, I can't tell you how much I disagree with that. I literally can't tell you. So I'm going to hand over to Meghan to explain. Meghan.
Yeah, I think that Mrs. Fairground Bouquet.
Oh yeah, and that's another thing. Mrs. Fairground Bouquet. I mean, where do you find these people?
Mrs. Bouquet is a retired microbiologist who has received multiple awards for innovation in her field. She retired early so that her and her husband could become foster parents to abandoned and underprivileged children.
Well, isn't she a saint?
As I was saying, I think that Mrs. Fairground Bouquet has missed the subtle significance of affirmation. A personalized certification of our precise individual wavelength. Yes, Meghan, it's fascinating. Although, does it not concern you that to some, this is little more than asinine, psychobabbling pomposity delivered in beglittered sophistry? What are you looking up? Asinine or sophistry?
Delivered.
Left a good job in the city, working for the man every night and day. And I never lost 1 minute of sleep and worrying about the way things might have been. Oh, the big wheel keep on turning, proud Mary keep on burning. Rolling, 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 rolling on the river, rolling on the river. Listen to the story now. Cleaned a lot of plates in Memphis.
That was
Jeremiah, the compulsive liar who became a pariah impersonating a friar, asks, is it true that you're looking for a new home in Hope Ranch?
Yeah, we have to get out of there. I mean, it's crazy. We had 2 break-ins in like 12 days.
Which is almost 3 weeks.
It's almost 2 weeks.
Yeah, I'll admit, it's close to 2 weeks as well. But I think you'll find, if you do a little digging, intellectually, I think you'll discover that it's nearer to 3 weeks than it is to 2. It is close to 2 weeks as well. So, well done. Good try.
Well, no. Numbers are a fundamental ingredient to the broth of reason, so I can't let that go. 12 days is less than 2 weeks, so it follows unequivocally that 12 days is closer to 2 weeks than it is to 3.
Okay, we'll agree to disagree.
Obviously Harry's embarrassing both of us right now. But I have to say, I'm a little bit disappointed in you too, Dr. Jackson, with your, admiration for the so-called broth of reason.
I think you'll find he said chowder of common sense. My little pickle bunny.
Oh my God, there's so much wrong with what you just said there, Harry. And it was broth of reason. Okay? Definitely.
Yes, but in fairness, I think I prefer chowder of common sense.
Don't encourage him.
Oh. Well, anyway, please carry on with your description of your disappointment, however positive I am that it will be faux intellectual, pseudo-scientific claptrap.
Oh, see, Meghan? Cobalt actually lets you speak your truth.
I know, but you're grasping onto this logic and reason stuff, Cobalt. It's like a baby holding on to their favorite teddy. And if you carry on doing that, in the end, you're going to end up not going with the flow of my description of my moment and my truth.
Such a good point.
Oh, no, please, don't be concerned, Meghan. I'm a communist, of course.
Of course.
So I will never allow reason or actuality to infect my ideological standpoint.
Well, that's nice to hear, because they are the 2 most effective and aggressive vectors of white supremacy and racism.
Both?
Yeah, and racial discrimination.
Well, out with logic and reason then. But let's get back to Jeremiah the compulsive liar's question about moving from Montecito to Hope Ranch. He also says he's heard that the residents of Hope Ranch aren't thrilled about your arrival.
Huh, rednecks.
Well, it is a gated community around walled and gated estates that average $22 million in value.
Yeah, okay. Rednecks who made it big in the tech world. Oh, that was the video. I hope you enjoyed it. And if you wouldn't mind liking and sharing and hitting the subscribe button and hit the notification bell, oh, that'd be good. And please join us again next time.